I'll go for this area. He can say jaywalking because I'm not. Okay? You give me a ticket, I'll sue you. The money back from this one. Man, this is crazy. Just heading home. This is the city after we leave Oakland, Rancho. Hey, man, Green Thumbs 999. What's up? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? This is probably a fast one. Quick one. Possibly a quick one, maybe. Oh, there we go. Look at this. I got what was wrong. Oh, shit. He's going hands on. Sit down. You never know what these traffic stops might, how it might end up. Hey, and it's not pressing. The Viking, Carl Medina, Carl Stevenson. Jason K. Hell yeah. That goes outside. Oh, she's in here. She has a passenger. I'm gonna cross right here. Plate number 1590425 1647711.
No, thank you. No.
All right, guys.
How you doing?
You guys good?
Oh yeah, how you doing?
Not too bad. How'd I do?
All right.
How'd I do?
As long as you keep it professional.
We appreciate quick service like that, you know. Make sure he's not intoxicated.
You're free to go, by the way. You're good.
Yeah, make sure he's not intoxicated. And once you found out he wasn't, you let him go, no problem. That's how it's supposed to be done.
How do you
appreciate good officers like that?
How do you figure it out? You look at the eyes, right? They're like watery and like reddish. Then you see they're wasted.
No, it's responsiveness he's looking for.
How do I know that he's not intoxicated?
Like immediately.
Immediately?
Yeah.
Well,
slurring words.
Yeah, that's one of them. There's a couple things. Odor of alcohol, which he had none. Redness, glossiness in his eyes, which he had none. And then, so when you look at your eyes, I'm looking for certain clues, which I'm not going to disclose, but I'm sure you can look it up online. Look for some of those clues, and if those clues are not present, then I don't proceed from there, because if I don't see those clues in his eyes, well then, he's not going to be intoxicated.
Exactly.
So I start off with the clues, I start checking them off on my sheet right here, and my head too. If I don't see those, then he's not going to be intoxicated, whether it's either alcohol or drugs. This marijuana, this narcotics, prescription grade medication. You see it all in your eyes.
Why waste your time after that?
When I can go after somebody else that is, right?
No, I appreciate that.
So the reason I pulled him over, I mean, I don't know if he got scared. He made a correct U-turn, a legal U-turn, but then he was weaving from side to side. I guess he was looking for Alberto's, which is
a couple
on
more.
this side.
Yeah.
He kind of got a little turned around. He's from Ontario. Got to turn around a little bit. So he's weaving. And
Out here, it happens.
Yeah.
GPS gives you the wrong stuff. I was
does,
a delivery
absolutely does.
driver out here. They were trying to send me to the subway on Rochester and Foothill there,
Right.
but they were sending me across the street when it's in the one on the other side.
It happens, you
Yeah,
know, it's be understandable as long as he's not endangering anybody else's life. He's not under the influence of alcohol. That's what I'm looking for.
Well,
Usually, I find a lot of young people who just don't get it. A lot of young people who drink and think it's right to drink and put people's life in danger.
It's that easy, you know. It's that easy, you know. Drink a couple of beers and later on get in your car and go from party to party, or try to go home. You know, when we have Uber, you know.
Oh yeah, Uber's done more for drunk driving than anything.
And you would think that our numbers would climb down, but.
And she had a passenger. She could have driven the car, but no, it's his car, you know. But
Yeah.
anyway, if you also see was drunk,
That's
but
the
he's not
worst too,
drunk.
is when they're drunk and they got somebody sober with them.
Yeah.
It's like, why do something stupid?
Yeah,
like
and then so
that?
many people get hurt. Like earlier today, about 4 or 5 hours ago, there was a guy that drove from Riverside across Ontario, hit a car that had a passenger. Well, the driver was 30 some odd weeks pregnant.
Oh,
Months.
Yeah.
30 some odd months. I'm sorry, weeks.
It's okay, I knew what you were talking about.
Weeks. You know how they count in weeks?
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
weird. Anyway, so she was pregnant. And she got hit. The guy took off. Drove over here to Rancho. And we ended up finding him up the street. Well, poor pregnant lady got hurt, you know?
Man,
trust me.
bad for the
I do
baby.
not stand for drunk drivers by any
Neither do I.
means. Like, I think it's the worst thing in the world to be a drunk driver. You know, like. So I have no problem with saturated patrol for drunk driving. You know?
Absolutely.
Like that to me is no problem. To me, I don't understand the DUI checkpoints. To me, that seems lazy. You're waiting for them all to show up at one point versus.
I agree. Which they're not because.
It gets told where they are too.
Exactly. You know, you give the notice,
Yeah.
and then if I'm drunk, I'm gonna drive
Yeah.
you around it. You know.
I'd rather see everybody out saturating in patrol than all in one spot. You know.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, everybody has their idea on what works best.
Yeah.
So
It's never good to get arrested, but they did it themselves. They did it themselves, so I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah.
no, you can't feel bad for somebody that drives drunk that gets arrested.
Especially when you know, imagine if your loved one, mom, sister, brother, is in a car.
Oh, yeah,
The
no.
car gets hit, and then someone else takes off, or even if they're there.
Yeah.
You know, if you take that out of the equation, the drunk driver out of the equation, maybe that accident wouldn't have happened.
No, it's true.
But anyway,
All right.
add more time, guys.
No,
My
I
name is
appreciate
Deputy
it.
That's
Namo.
cool.
You guys take care.
Okay, you
Thank you
too.
for being so professional.
Cool,
Great
thank
man.
you. And every Rancho department, you're the more professional we ever have a conversation with. Every other, yeah, I
We
mean it.
appreciate you. Good police like you are rare, and we appreciate it.
I don't think we're rare. I think that there's like a stigma, you know?
Well, you have to remember, when your job is to tell free people what they can or can't do, there's always going to be that stigma against you. You know?
And then, you know, no one likes getting a ticket, or
No.
no one likes that.
Don't get me
so
wrong.
I get it.
As far as traffic enforcement outside of DUI and stuff, I think you guys are being wasted for resources in that way. Because you guys would be better served handling violent crime,
Which we do.
stuff. Yeah,
We do.
but when you're busy pulling over somebody for not turning on their signal and somebody's getting beat somewhere else, you know, which one would I rather have you
Let me
deal
see.
with?
Let me see if I can change your mind. Okay. Proactive stops. We stop people all the time.
Yeah.
Right. We can't just. You know, we don't live in Nazi Germany where you know we can just stop you for whatever. You know. We stop you for a vehicle violation. I have to cover more guns that way than an active crimes happen.
Well,
I'll pull over a car and you know the guy's suspended or whatever. So that means he can't drive the car. That means I can do an inventory on the vehicle.
yeah. Once again, like
You know.
the pretextual stop, while I understand it helps in some ways, it's still like it's borderline as to how much it actually prevents.
How am I going to find the drugs or kidnap victims or, you know, everything
mean-
else if I don't stop cars?
The whole thing with like guns and drugs, that's whatever. Kidnap victims, yes, you know, like,
We've
but
come across those too.
yeah, but the guns and drugs, my whole thing is policing what people do to themselves is a whole nother.
Here's
yeah.
I think this is what you meant to say. Basically, like citing people from like little stuff. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Somebody went to make a left, they didn't turn on their signal, they got nothing in their car, but now you're wasting 15 to 20 minutes of your time to write that ticket.
But not knowing the background of that also has a can change the whole aspect of everything, right? Instead of California gives certain grants to cities that petition and apply for those grants. And some of those grants, like for example, the other day I worked Click It or Ticket, right? And it was a grant for the city of Rancho Cucamonga to stop cars that with people not driving a seatbelt. That's literally what I was looking for. My sole purpose for those 4 hours is literally Click It or Ticket. You know, obviously people die when they crash and they're not wearing a seatbelt. So state of California, and then sometimes we have grants for what we call how should I put it? It's vehicle code, but basically violations that would cause a traffic accident. That's the simplest I can put it.
So like bald tires or.
Those are hard. But like for example, not using your turn signal. That would be one of them. You know. Running a red light, that would be another one. You know, not yielding to traffic, that's one of them. These are moving violations that are kind of cheesy in and of themselves, but the person that's stopping you, you never know if he's actually working, or if that's his job to enforce a traffic violation. Because like right now, for example, I'm part of the traffic bureau, okay? And my job is to literally enforce the traffic, the vehicle code, the California vehicle code. I also respond to 911 calls and so on and so forth. My sole job that are literally paying me to do is to enforce the vehicle code, whether it's a big, violation or small. It's up to me whether it's letter of the law or spirit of the law, whether that person gets a ticket or not. Sometimes, like this guy, for example, could have given him a ticket for unsafe lane change. I chose not to because I chose not to.
Well, when you talk about infractions that could put others in danger versus the seatbelt, okay, like you said, they put out the grant for the Click It or Ticket. My thing with that is, if I choose I want to die in an accident, who are you to tell me I can or can't?
But see, here's the thing.
Rancho.
You're going to kill other people too.
Hey, permanent patient, what's up?
If I'm not
Jay
wearing
Water,
the
spell for
if I'm
freedom.
not wearing the seatbelt, or I'm wearing the seatbelt,
Leo, watch
if
your.
I crash, doesn't matter as to what happened to them. That didn't affect them. That affects what happens to me.
Hold on a second.
How about this?
Where a seatbelt won't cause me to crash. Whether I'm wearing it or not won't affect how I drive.
I see your point.
Yeah.
How about this? Right? You crash not wearing a seatbelt, I get it. Completely your choice. Right? But say you don't die.
Yeah.
Say you become a vegetable. The citizens of the state of California they're gonna have to pay for your hospital and everything for the rest of your life.
That's if I don't have my own financial responsibility.
Correct. And even if you do.
Because I'm all for people having to have financial responsibility.
Freedom to film.
But I'm not for them being forced to have it through a third company.
I get it.
I
completely get it.
That's like saying every time you go to the store, you've got to buy Coca-Cola or you get a ticket.
Well, you have to understand that in the state of California and every other state, right?
It's cool.
What becomes a law when it comes to you driving is the people vote for it.
Not in vehicle code. Vehicle code is not voted for by the people. Vehicle code is written by legislatures, not by the people.
And who votes legislators? Who votes those people in?
Who
puts them in there? The people.
But
it all goes back to the people.
Well, but let's put it this way, because you're sheriff.
Yeah.
Okay. You're even though it's Rancho Cucamonga, you're still San Bernardino sheriff.
Correct.
Your boss is elected. Over in Fontana, the boss of the police is appointed by the mayor, not elected.
Okay, but
so
I guess where I'm going at is the vehicle code, right? The people that write those into our code.
Well,
that is it all goes back to the people.
But actually not true, because the vehicle code is written by the DMV, which is a separate entity that's not voted on by the people.
Not all of them.
The DMV is not voted on by the people. The person in charge of the DMV is not an elected official.
And if you want to get a driver's license, you have to abide by the code.
Who's that guy in the
But
picture in
that's
this?
it. The code was written by somebody that's not an elected official. The DMV.
Chris Torres, yo, what's up?
Not elected. So that's the person writing the code, and they're not elected.
Just a traffic stop.
Well, but the DMV,
Thank you,
the
Bill.
Department of Motor Vehicles,
You have a
is
good night
the
yourself.
code.
Appreciate
That's
it.
who puts out the
There
vehicle.
is some codes
You guys were on
that
it today.
are infractions, some are misdemeanors, and some
Okay.
are felonies, right? They're
Latina.
arrestable in a
What is a felonious vehicle code? Like, what would, besides grand theft, but that's theft, like,
That's not a vehicle code.
yeah, so.
For example,
Hey, Perth server.
Yeah, okay.
that's a felony.
Yeah.
Relevant injuries, that's a felony.
But if you don't cause damage to anyone else, can you commit a felony behind the wheel? Is there anything else that's not involving other people? Because even excessive speed, is that considered a felony?
Hello, Perth
Yes.
server.
Yeah.
It depends.
Yes.
Depends. Over a certain limit.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious about that, how that works. Because I understand vehicle code for safety, but there's parts of vehicle code that just don't match up, that are more nitpicky for revenue generation, for lack of a better term, because
Slap
there's-
fight.
You'd be surprised.
You know.
That there's actually no revenue from it.
Well, where do the tickets? Where does the revenue come? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I thought it was, is he leaving?
No,
I thought.
he's moving so he doesn't get hit. Yeah. No, I understand. You don't want to. You were in the way. I totally understand. So, my question is like, where does that money go then from the tickets, the fine from?
He's
the
just
tickets?
talking to.
If it's not generating revenue, where does it go?
Trying to
It's
figure
not
some
it's
stuff out.
victim stuff.
That was it.
Part of it goes to, I want to say,
Well, the reason I wonder is because if you really look at it, without tax dollars coming in, how else does the city make money? You know, they have to make it. Every city's incorporated like a corporation for a reason because they're a revenue generating
Hello, Shayla.
city.
Hello,
Cities
foreign
wouldn't
changer.
exist if they didn't generate revenue.
Latina.
So a lot of that with the fines, because you think about the difference between a fine versus jail. Jail is punishment. You're being confined in a place because you committed a crime.
My hook.
An infraction fine is saying, well, you did something we didn't like, so you got to pay us money, or you don't get to do this no more. It comes off differently than an actual punishment.
okay, when it comes to an infraction, like for example, I don't know, running a stop sign, right?
Or even better, no, not paying registration. Because in
Right.
that case, there is no victim if I didn't pay the state, except for the state.
Well, what about running a stop sign? Who's the victim?
Well, anybody I could have hit. I put people.
Leo.
I
If you think, if I give you a ticket for running a stop sign, who's the victim?
anybody I could have put in danger at that point.
So no one?
You know, if there's no one there, then no one is a victim. But if somebody else,
In California.
but how can a non-living entity be a victim?
Good question.
You know, like
It's a city.
yeah. So that's where it's like the registration. I understand.
That's another question.
Yeah, sure.
Right? If you see that bank right there,
Yeah,
break that window, who's the victim?
the owner of the building.
The owner of the building?
Yeah.
Is it surprising that the owner of the building is a corporation?
Well, unfortunately, corporations were given living
What is
entity
why-
status.
What's that?
Corporations were given what's called living entity status. So a corporation can be considered a living entity,
Right.
which is sad. It shouldn't be that way, and corporations
57
should
now.
not be allowed to own land. But that's
39.
a whole goes against the Constitution thing. That you know.
I think we're talking about two different things. But
Yeah.
anyway, so when it comes to the vehicle code, and the penal code, and the welfare institution code, and all the codes, when the state becomes a victim, the people, it's victim as the people. That's why, like, when you're fighting against, like, I don't know, against something against the people of the state of California versus or whatever. So when you, yeah, so the people is basically synonymous with the California state, and it represents the people. But not one person per se, but the people. Yes, I guess, all together.
It's interesting logic, no doubt. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what it is here, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can't speak for the But anyways, yeah. So you want a stop sign, registration, whatever.
yeah. Well, and like I said with the registration, because with registration that ultimately just comes down to financial. So if you don't pay your registration, the state of California doesn't make that money. They don't fix a pothole or something like that. How that affects the whole of the people and whether the whole of the people would actually punish me.
Disconnect my phone to the charger.
I know, like so. It's one of those
This
things
is a
where
number right here.
it's that borderline of, well, yeah, it's above your pay grade. You're still the one enforcing it, though. You're the front line, you know. I know, but that's just it. That's you know the old saying, "Never kill the middleman." Unfortunately, you are the middleman.
You're not the bottom guy.
You know.
For example, the same thing. You go to a grocery store, right? And you have a person bagging.
It's a nice area.
You ask them, hey, who makes these bags? They're like, I don't know, someone else makes that.
What's up, Long Beach?
And while
Just came to coffee.
in a grocery store,
Coffee sounds pretty cool right now.
your position entails
The blue line. Looks nice.
but you handle
I like this vehicle. It's pretty cool and new.
whether you touch them with
1647711.
up to pat him down, stuff like that. So taking that out of the equation, as soon as you made him pull over, you handled him right there before you ever touched him. Because you handled what he was allowed to do or not. Because if he didn't pull over for you, he's going to face a whole bunch of other things. So that is a form of handling, whether you're physically or not, you're handling what they can or can't do. You know? And so to me, no, what I'm saying is when you take on that position, then your knowledge of who makes the rules you want to follow should be a lot higher than the bagger who bags the groceries, because ultimately they're not going to change somebody's life on the way they
I
bag
know.
groceries.
I want to leave too.
I know.
He's got to go back to work.
Examples only work when you're comparing apples and apples, not apples and oranges, you know? Like, because, you know, like, because I just, my whole thing is this. When you've accepted a position...
This is brand new news now, Preston. These are big Fords.
You should be
Hey,
better
Cupcake,
aware
how you doing?
of why it is you're in that position than, oh, I
Check
don't
it
know
out.
why they made that rule, or oh, I don't know if we made that.
2022 cars. I like these new technology and stuff like that.
You know, like the term.
Would it surprise you that McDonald's works so long and not to
Well, it's like, have you ever wondered why they want you to just enforce it without understanding it?
Well, I understand it.
You know,
I understand it, right? But as far as specifics, like, for example, why was this made into a law? Case law? But why was country right now, right? Rather than a law? You know? I think that has better to look up why not putting on a law.
you know.
Now, my free time, I'm free to do whatever I want, right? I get paid basically to enforce the law, make sure that people, citizens, actually know that our city and the state of California can enjoy the freedom the way it's supposed to be. Constitutional rights, only them.
That's a brand new vehicle. Look at this.
It's so funny because hearing you say it that way versus if you go and you talk to other Leos about
These buildings are vacant right here.
a lot of them won't answer that way. You know, and so it makes you wonder why there's not more uniformity across that type of position. You know.
But our job is to, part of it, most of it, is to enforce the law.
And it's funny because you've used the term free country twice now. How is a country free if there's rules and restrictions?
Well, if there was no rules and restrictions, would it be free?
Why wouldn't it be? You'd be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. Not at all. Anarchy, the literal definition of anarchy from Greek means without government. That's all it means. It doesn't mean chaos. It just means to live sovereign without government and have no one ruling over you. That's the literal. If you look, how do you think it worked before governments were ever instituted? People lived free and hunted and farmed and did what they did.
No one's forcing anybody. People make it by their own stuff.
But that's the thing, you can't go anywhere without a government. Government's everywhere. And always remember,
Not necessarily.
what country doesn't have a government?
There is these little sliver towns.
Because you got to remember, when governments were founded, that was the desire of a few to control the many and tell them what they can or can't do.
That is part of the.
You know?
That is part of the. Hey, this is above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I don't get paid to think about that.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna end this. There's nothing much going on. Sorry, but it's just conversation. It is, but
Here's the best
this.
way. Look at the Native Americans before
Thank
the
you.
British. They had no form
You
of
guys have a good
government.
night.
Yeah, they had chieftains and stuff like that.
That is the government.
But they.
I'm gonna go
they
back to
didn't have
Fontana as soon as I
formal
can,
rule
so-
over their whole everything.
Damn, blue line is
A
in
lot
here.
of tribes didn't have
Slayer.
chiefs. A lot of tribes didn't. They were independent nations that worked as co-ops.
And nobody called the shots.
No, not in the co-ops.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Carl.
there's a lot of co-ops out there from the Native Americans and stuff. They learned
Thank
to
you,
live as
Sheila.
groups on the
Sheila.
land, you know, versus
Thank you for
having
being there,
one
and
ruler over many.
I think I saw you 3 days ago.
Because think about this.
I had over 200 people in my chat,
Job
so
you do, you would still want to help people, though.
I'm
right?
gonna end this.
So with voluntarism,
This
what it is,
interaction is never
we
gonna
as
end,
humans
so
have that innate
I'm gonna tell them
nature
just to
help each other
let's
more
leave
than
because this is
ever.
gonna end forever. I need to leave. So it was just a regular traffic stop. I know I want to go back to Fontana tonight. Huh? I'll be there soon. Okay.
Really look at it when you
I'll
talk-
text
so
you.
When you talk about the Greek, because I can tell you, you know,
I'm not going to say anymore.
Look, it didn't work in up in what was it? When they took over that little block where there's no rules, no laws.
what, Slab City?
Yeah, whatever that's
Out in the desert out there, Slab City? No, but the example, I
guess the point
Later, Perth server. Thank you. Appreciate it. You stay
don't get
safe
me
out
wrong,
there.
I love good interaction, you know.
Traffic stop was a while
Even though
back,
we may
so
not agree,
I
love
can't have this
learning
video too
from
long.
you as to your
Thank you
point,
guys.
because it helps me refine
I'm gonna
my
upload the Upland PD
So,
part 1
we
static.
may not always agree,
Thank you
but
all. You guys have
I
a good
can't
night.
learn if I don't hear
I
the
know.
other side.
Too much, man. I'm getting kind of paranoid.
So yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. To
But it's all
me,
good.
I can say from being on the streets, I
You guys have a good night.
homeless,
Bye.
sitting on a corner
Peace
basement,
out.
I've seen more people